Yes, guys, one day left after today. The penultimate day of the transfer window, and Leeds United are moving today, best believe. And in this one, we're going to talk about Glen Kamara, who, as I speak, is undergoing a medical at Leeds United after what seemed like months. This guy's been linked since the start of the window. It's like it's finally happening. It's finally going through. Let's do a scouting report. Let's do a player profile on this guy. And let's have a look at what he can bring to Leeds United. Let's get into it. So here's all his, personal stats, I guess you could say. He's 27 years old, currently plays for Rangers, or did play for Rangers, 1.8 metres, you can all read that. Position I'm important about. So again, we spoke about on Joe's show last night about the role of these players and the output they can give going forward and defensively, because that's what this is about. It's not necessarily about finding a specific type of player. It's about finding a player who can give the output in this system, and a player they believe can give this output in this system. And Glen Kamara is predominantly an 8, a guy who will run in between those gaps, a guy who can build up play from deep, very technical on the ball. So it's interesting to see what type of area position they play him in. He's right-footed, from Finland. Yeah, as you can see, 5 million value. Injuries, nothing to cry about really. Nothing that bad. Oh, look at the heat maps, which I love a heat map, as you guys know. Just look at these here. His career stats. Scottish Premiership, played 150 games for in Scotland, which is phenomenal. Europa League as well. A lot of Europa League experience coming out of the Championship. That's good. League Cup, obviously Champions League a little bit there, and 52 appearances for Finland as well, the national side. Well, these are the heat maps, and I love a heat map because it shows you a lot about a player. Now, obviously, last season, he wasn't in the squad a lot, hence why there's not as much red. So, I'm looking at the 21-22 season where he was a mainstay in that Rangers side. Now, and that's probably his best season. What I like about this, compared to this and this, is the overall balance he had in the squad. This one, as you can see, when he did play, was predominantly left-sided, not as a winger, because you'd be a little bit more wider if you're a winger in average position. But this one as well, a lot of build-up play and attack came down that left. But what I liked about the 21-22 season, although it is slightly dominated by the left, he also built a lot up and he did a lot of ball progression, a lot of stuff in the game on the right side. For me, this is what we need. As we saw speaking to Andrea and Joe, shout out to those guys when we did the tactical stuff on Joe's show last night. There is a strong emphasis in this side of being in a position to not allow teams to counter quickly, or being in a position where we are balanced in the side so that we have players in kind of the right position when a transition might come in, when a counter might come in. Now, what's important part of that is, again, how you are off the ball, but also how you build up. If you overload one side in a build-up, then obviously there's more bodies in that attack, so then you're prone to the counter, right? You stretch from one side to the other. So it's about being balanced, and I think what Kamara needs to do for Leeds United is be that player who can maintain a balance in the midfield. So we need more of this when he plays. Now, it's interesting that the less he played, that he did favour that left side, so maybe that's his confidence side. Maybe that's where most of his build-up comes from, and that's fine. That's fine. That's the player he is. He'll cut in. He'll do stuff from that side and then maybe ping balls out here. Maybe a lot of his passing map. Or you look at his pass map, maybe it's from this side to this side, which is fine. So then you've got Willie Gnonto really holding that width. But yeah, just an interesting thing there. Interesting thing indeed for me. I love it. And I'll just quickly show you his playing stats from last season. Look, this is what I mean by it. It's a slight drop off last season from the year before. 19 appearances in league. Did accumulate 35 appearances last season with 1 goal and 1 assist. Predominantly, as you can see, from a more deeper position, hence why the lack of goals and assists. But, still a lot of solid appearances for the side. The year before, 28 in the league, 3 goals, 3 assists. Obviously, 14 appearances in the Europa League as well. Predominantly from central midfield or a defensive midfield position as well. Much better season for him. This is the type of season we need, but maybe a little bit more advanced to have more midfield output for sure. And then, as again, similar to the season before, that consistency. 20 appearances in the league, 10 in Europa League appearances, 51 in the season. Just straight onto his technical stats, people, for a central midfielder in a Daniel Farke system, a number 8. And what I really like about him, what stands out for me about Glen Kamara is the first 3 things in terms of technical ability. His first touch, ball control, and short passing are excellent. What I like about his first touch is it's not like it's a first touch that he'll stop it at his feet. His first touch is basically a dribble at times. So if a defender's close to him, his first touch will be to get the ball past the defender. He's thinking ahead. He's thinking of the next picture. He's already thinking of progressing it before he's even received the ball. If that's an option, he will go for it. He's got a really varied first touch. One that can just drop in front of him nice, or one that can be actually part of him moving forward. Ball control as well is part of this. What I like about Glen Kamara is, from what I've seen, the way in which he can manipulate the ball close to him in tight areas. That's important, and he's got a little bit of flair to him, a little bit of skill, and I think we need that in our midfield. We've got very good players on the ball. We've got very good runners in there. We're missing that little bit of flair, that little bit of excitement, a little bit of skill, and he's got that for sure. Short passing is excellent. He can drive with the ball, or he can just simply give the ball forward. Some little cheeky passes through 2 defenders, pass and move type move, a lot of forward passes, can go to the side. I like his passing. I like the way in which he moves the ball. That's what I like about Glen Kamara. That's what impresses me. Long passing, yeah, not great. Doesn't really do it that much. Not really part of his thing. Progressive ball carries, can carry the ball, like I said. Decent in the dribble, decent on the ball. Got a lot of flair in there, which we love to see. Technical ability is a technical. Now, these things below that are the things that need to see more of, or part of his games that are not his strengths. And that's progressive passes, and that's a 7. That's not a low score, by the way. That's just the amount I've witnessed him do, or the amount I've seen him do in the system he played. These stats are just what I've seen. This can be adapted in systems. He doesn't progress the ball in terms of passing, like them cutting edge passes, as much, potentially, as I'd want. I think he's a player who is capable of that. Tackling duels, he's okay. He can get a last ditch tackling. He's decent recovery speed. So yeah, he can do that, but it's not his game. But he can sit in that position and of course mop anything up there for sure. Creativity, fairly creative player, as we've already discussed. Defensive positional play is decent. He's in decent defensive positions most of the time. That gives him a score of B of 75 out of 100, which is very solid. We'll start off in the second bit with his physical as usual. My favourite one, using his body to maintain the ball. How do you use your body when there's players around you? That's almost press resistant. Are you good at that? Yes, he is. And that's what I love about this guy. This guy gets the ball in tight areas. He'll find a way to wriggle out of it. He's got that little bit of flair. That first touch is also about trying to get past an opponent if they're close to him. Quite press resistant in that sense for me. He'll be really good in this system when a team, we can get it into midfield with confidence, We can pass it into midfield knowing that this guy's going to keep the ball, maintain the ball. We've Gruev in there as well, if that's another option. Look at Ampadu and Gray. Some real good squad options with different characteristics, which we need for sure. Yeah, he's really good at using his body on the pitch, really good. Acceleration, fine. First 5 yards are good. He can skip past the player and drive a little bit. Not absolutely mind-blowing in his speed, but can skip past players, of course. Physicality, not a very physical guy in terms of physical strength or using his strength on the ball, but doesn't need it. He's got that technical flair. He's got that burst of pace if he needs it. Yeah. Agility, very agility. Good movement off the ball as well. Finding little pockets, 1-2s, movements, decent. Fitness, put 7. I couldn't put higher because he's not played consistently last year. Why that is, there's a lot of people talking about that, but he didn't, and they're the facts of it, and that's why I can't give higher than a 7. Psychological, this one's a bit more tricky to think, but difficult mentality in difficult moments. He's been through some difficult moments at Rangers. I'm not going to go into, but the fact he came through them and didn't let that affect him in the way that horrible stuff like that would, is really testament to his character for me, and fair play to him for that. Persistence, this is about constantly going and beating it, but I look at last season, he didn't play as much. Why isn't that? A player that people say down tools and he just wanted to move, and that's fine, players want that, but what was the reasoning for that? And the fact that he didn't play consistently last year as much as we would have liked compared to the season before, where it's phenomenal, would show a little lack of persistence in that sense. But a new opportunity for Leeds, a new way at Leeds United is something that we like. You need that, like we had Ampadu example, a player that's looking for that home. Leadership for, like I said, with the persistence last year, any type of leader in that role would not put in performances that were a consistent level. Not bad. When he played, he was fine. But not the player he could have been last year. Anyway, when he's on the ball, calmness, reading the game technically is excellent. This guy can read the game. And that's what I like. Smart player, smart technical player, very good on the ball. Can be unlocked. We need more from it in terms of what we have going forward. Like I said, we need the output. If he's playing inside, we'll need more output from him. So Daniel Farke's system requires that box-to-box midfielder to have outcome, right, going forward. That is an important trope that he's always had, actually. But we need that. Speed of thinking, decent. Like I said, his first touch is often looking to beat a man or find the pass straight away. Yeah, he's smart. He knows if he slows down on the ball, he's going to attract defenders towards him, then that'll create space for other players. He's a smart guy. Concentration, 7 out of 10. Score of 50 out of 70, which is very solid. 43 out of 60 in physical. Solid again. Anyone wants to read that, feel free. Overall summary. Key strengths improvement. Key strengths for me is technical ability. I've been through it. Technical on the ball, good bit of skill. I think I'll work really well in a midfield partnership with someone who's decent at 1-2s and little link-up play. Someone in that 10 as well who's always available, because he'll try find you. He'll create areas of attack, and I like that. Excellent ball control. Ability to work in tight spaces is what we need. Positional play. And it's interesting because I'm seeing people be underwhelmed by this one. And for me, I don't get it. There's a metric that, because it's took so long, is our 5th and 6th target. Now, let me be brutally honest here, right? Amiri was the number 1 because he is that player. He's a level above this, right? That was the number 1 target for me in this role. I think he would have been an 8. I truly do. I think he would have been an 8. Would progress forward and got the output to be a 10, like we saw with Rancic and Stiepermann. I think he would have done that role. And I think Kamara, for me, is a player, and I look at O'Reilly as well, who would have been perfect. And Phil also mentioned on Kamara, they delayed the signing of a central midfielder to get Perot in. And Kamara was that name, so it would have happened last week with the Perot stuff. But of course, the Perot stuff came in and it came available, so they pounced on that before anyone else could. That got delayed a little bit. It's probably not our first target, but it's definitely a target. And the fact that he's in that shortlist, probably 3rd or 4th, still shows to me he's a top player. It's not some player that picked out of nowhere. He was identified as a target. And if you can get any of those targets, it's a success. We've seen in the past, it seemed we didn't get a lot of our targets in times. But look at Rafinha, how late he came in the window. And that opportunity came up. Sure, he wasn't our first target. Sure, there was other names that we were constantly linked with in that winger position that were not our first target. You know, it doesn't say anything bad to me. The fact that he is a target and we've got him is good for me, and I'm looking forward to seeing him. He's going to have a lot to do to get into the squad for sure. It's a tough squad, and there's a lot of competition, especially with Gruev coming in as well. If that does happen, you know, we don't. By the time of this, I'm not sure, but yeah, I don't think it's a disvalue. With the fact we're paying again, I imagine it'll be around 4 or 5 million for him. Suggests to me that he's not just some random guy. This guy's a solid target and has been all summer. There's just clearly 1 or 2 above them that they thought they could get, which have now come not possible. Now we go on our 3rd target. And I'm fine with that. What's Gruev? Gruev might have been 4th target. We don't know this stuff. But yeah, anyway. Improvement, consistency. Like I said, last year wasn't consistent enough for me. The year before that was excellent. There's a bit of inconsistency there. He needs to find consistency when he's in the side because we have competition and he'll struggle to stay in the side if he's not consistent. Physicality, it's an improvement. I don't know if it's a worry given his technical ability, but that is there. Range of passing. I think just finding a bit more longer passes to stretch the play if we need to at times would be good for him, especially if he's got Gruev in there who also isn't great at long-ranging passes. Well, not great, not done it enough at his previous club. So yeah, we need to find the balance for sure. Great squad option and great. Ampadu, Gruev, and Archie is an excellent 4. Excellent. That's really good for Championship. Similar players, Thiago and his movement. I mean, when he receives the ball deep, I'm not comparing him to these players. It's attributes, guys. Thiago, when he moves the ball deep, he's got that good first touch, that good spin. You know, always looking to take someone on, a bit of flair, close control. And Mo Kamara in terms of pitch presence, the way he moves around the pitch, the way he progresses the ball is similar to Mo Kamara. So yeah, those are kind of attributes I associate with. Not at their level, obviously, but attributes. Technical ability was a B, physical a C, psychological a C, overall C+. A solid C+ signing. A player that will have to work to get into the starting side for sure, but can bring a lot to this side, I think, if he's played right under Daniel Farke. And Daniel Farke can unlock those attributes he had the season before last in Rangers, and the season before that, where he was really, really good in European competitions as well, by the way, against good sides. That's it for Glen Kamara, the one that took so long, the one that is finally here. I'm liking the way this window's going now. As I speak, it seems like we're getting 2. Let's see. If we do get Glen Kamara and Gruev, then we're kind of looking at one more. Is it going to be a winger? Is it going to be a left back? Hopefully. Let's see. But yeah, really happy with this one. Happy with all of the business. I think it's been excellent, astute business, to be honest. Let me know what you guys think. Appreciate all the support as usual.